I saw this comic on the shelves this week and I thought to myself, have we turned the corner with Disney? Have we seen the changes that I predicted was going to happen? Because I said the best way for DC to save their brand is to get the parent company, AT&T, Warner, whatever it is, to start allowing things to get licensed out to other creators. Disney and Marvel and all that, it's treated all as like a lost leader, right? They're IP creation houses. They're not interested in making a profit off of comic books. And in the end, they end up with just a lot of dead weight, corrupt creations, things that just are agenda driven. There's no target audience for, subpar quality, those kinds of things. So when I saw Hercules, and I want to make note here, this is not by Disney. This is not by the Marvel. This is outsourced to Dynamite. So, okay. So Disney is getting paid by Dynamite to license out the Hercules brand for a comic series or run or miniseries, whatever it is. This is not the first time, obviously. And we see this with other things like Thundercats right now, or Dynamite's become pretty popular. People are going crazy for some Thundercats. Fair enough. So my point is this the future for some of these IPs? Number one question for you. Because I feel like this was the thing to do. Like, there's no reason to keep pretending that many of these comic book characters and these stories and titles are actually running congruently together. That's why they reboot them all the time. They're just trying to find another gimmick to pay for the next round of artists and writers, completely trying to fabricate interest into investors and speculators or people who are legitimately like, I just love good covers or I like this one character. It's like, fine, it's good. You know what? It's fine. If the person just wants to, because I'm kind of in that place where I'm like, I'm okay with just finding, you know, alien covers that I really like, predator covers that I really like, things like that. But it's not as though I can go out there and just like, hey guys, this is the greatest miniseries, whatever, or that this series is going to keep going. It's like I've ranted and raved about how frustrated I am with like Amazing Spider-Man. What was it, 5 or 6? It was issue 6, I think. It's issue 900. They interrupted the momentum. They had all these other crazy creators in there. They wrote all these other weird stories, and then they pretend to get back to normal with the next issue. And you're like, okay, it can't keep working like that. So when I saw this, I'm like, wait, this is actually what they should be doing is outsource things that they don't want to do, keep interest going. They can have variant covers, they can do different things. Let Dynamite deal with all that. Let them put their own cost and just take the licensing money. Just put it into a licensing bucket and use it as an investment into other things, developing new Hercules brand items, whether that be stuffed animals, whether that be a new spin on the character or toys or things for a special anniversary that's coming up, things like that. Like, this seems like the perfect opportunity to see IPs grow and change in a more healthy way. The next thing is Hercules isn't something that's like a hot topic right now, right? So there's no big re-release planned or anything like that that I'm aware of. But at the same time, I thought, oh, that actually is kind of a good idea, especially if you have what is in theory a pretty kid-friendly book that Dynamite can deal with. Let Dynamite deal with that, right? And if it's out of balance with what the Hercules fans would want, it's Dynamite's problem. Disney doesn't have to take the slings and arrows of all of their branding issues that they're going through with kid content, right? So, oh, it's too woke or it's too this or it's whatever. It's just like, okay, well, they don't have to deal with that. They've outsourced it to someone else. Someone else has to take those slings and arrows, right? And they can just raise the rate on the licensing fee for next time. So if Dynamite is successful and they can see, oh man, this shut off for them, their brand is actually worth a little bit more. There's only like wins for them doing this. The only negative for Disney doing this is if Hercules becomes this phenomenal selling comic book series and then they're just not reaping the financial benefits of that extra sales. But they just got what they got. Like, there's such a smart strategy with just taking a cut that you're happy with and just let everybody else make gobs of money. Like, if you just made X amount, let's say we agreed on a license and it was for, a round number. Let's say it's $100. I got my $100. I'm throwing my $100. I wasn't going to get $100 otherwise. And if I have to do all this other stuff, I run the risk of losing money, negative press, whatever. I just hit my $100. Now it is a success and goes out there and it makes $1,000. It's 10x, right? So Dynamite's making all this money and they're making headlines. Good on them. But for Disney, though, they're like, wait, I got my $100. I got all this good press. People are interested in the character now. I could stuff stuffed animals. I could do a re-release on some toys or something like that. So it helps your IP. This is a great way to polish up their brand and get things back on track without having to incur a lot of the financial and PR risk that they've been going through lately. So that's why I did this video. I didn't grab a copy of Hercules. I didn't read it. Don't know anything about it, and don't really care. It's not my thing. The movie's fine. It's not the greatest or anything like that. It's a nice and satisfactory. I feel like it just didn't have a great tone that holds up over time. Like I love the fates and some of the music in this movie, but it doesn't always fit what's actually happening on screen. But it's okay. I like it for the most part. So with that, I just thought, the bigger issue here is the brand itself, because Disney's just such a ship that doesn't seem to have a compass and a plan. I mean, Bob Iger wins his big threat from Control or whatever, which wasn't even a surprise, but you feel like they don't really have their act together. Something like this feels like the direction that they should be going with most of their IPs. Like I could see Dynamite or other companies lining up to do 10 or 12 of these a year. There's so many IPs that could do little 4 to 6 issue miniseries. You get 2 or 3 on a shelf at a time. You're stacking that. You're getting kids interested in things, and maybe that's a primer for a big DVD. Go back to physical media. Go back to getting a big release out there for an event. Put Fathom events involved. So and the reason I'm doing this, I just don't want to keep piling on, pouring gasoline on the fire, beating on the dead horse, all that. I'd like to talk about like what could work and what could be a positive direction, things like that. This is one of those that I think actually is. But I'd love to hear from you guys. Thanks so much for listening. I'm Pops.